Welcome back everybody to another video. In this video we are going to talk about HDR 4K 120, 1440 and 1080 at 120. If it makes any kind of difference when you're trying to hit that 120 frames per second. Ideally, native 4K at 120 with HDR is what you're going to want to run your games at, even if your game struggles to hit that 120 frames per second. In this video, we are going to discuss all those resolution, the graphic fidelity, performance, and resolution, if any of that is even noticeably different. It's not going to be, this is going to be a quick one, guys. So I use the latest Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for this test on my Xbox Series X. So if 4K at 120 is the ultimate settings, why would anyone lower the resolution? Well, we lower the resolution to perhaps get the best possible frames per second in our gaming experience, at least on paper, that is. So the real question becomes, how much resolution do we have to sacrifice to get that maximum performance? Well, on the Series X, the graphic fidelity of Black Ops 6 is truly optimized to the fullest, in my opinion. When I'm running 4K down to 1440p to hit that 120 frames per second, there is no noticeable difference. 4K down to 1080p was a very little slight difference in resolution. The graphic fidelity of this game is so high that it doesn't even affect the resolution and the color a least bit. So you're not gonna really, it's not night and day. You're not gonna really notice any resolution. You're not gonna notice any missing pixels or whatnot. Normally I favor 1440p at 120 Hertz over 4K at 120 Hertz. But since 1440p down to 1080p made very little minute difference in resolution, so I set my console to 1080p at 120. Now from 4K down to 1440p, 1080 at 120 Hertz, when it comes to performance, there was not much difference when it came to frames per second. So in other words, if you set your console to the max, which is for gaming 4K at 120 Hertz, you're in good hands. But if you want the most frames per second possible, lower your resolution, because you will still have that great graphic fidelity along with optimal performance. And by the way, Black Ops 6, for those who are wondering, is a great classic game that you would expect from a Call of Duty franchise. So normally 4K at 120 performance wise, that versus 1080p at 120, you can't, it's not night and day, so you're not going to notice a difference in performance when you're running 4K at 120 or 1080p at 120. So for those, when you run 4K 120, you're good. But for people like me, just in case, I'm gonna just lower that resolution to hit the maximum frames per second possible when it comes down to gaming. So that being said, personally, I will always choose performance over the visual, especially if I can't have both. But if I can have both, of course I'll choose both. But that is pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Let me know what you're running. If you lower your resolution to hit that 120 frames per second, let me know about that. Comment below, keep it friendly. And just in case someone has a question about their settings, if your console and your TV, if your Hertz is only 60 Hertz and is capped at 60 Hertz, you're gonna want to run your device, your console, on the highest settings. Meaning, if your TV is 60 Hertz and on your console, you're gonna want to set your console to 4K at 60 Hertz. If your TV is a 1080p TV, obviously you're gonna set it to 1080p at 60 Hertz. To reiterate, when it comes down to 60 Hertz, as far as your resolution of your TV, if that's your max, you're gonna want to run the maximum resolution on your console that you can do, because it's not gonna matter. This video is particularly talking about those who are able, or TVs that are capable of running 120 hertz. So just on a side note, but once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment below, keep it friendly. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hooded Dragons out.